Card Collectanea. This is Cindy, and it's part 7 of my challenge to myself to use my cartridges. And today, the cartridge that I'm going to use is the Martha Stewart Elegant Cake Art cartridge. I will be honest to say that I've never before today tried to use just this cartridge to do a whole card, but that's what I did today. So I'm going to show you what I started with. I'm using one of my favorite color combinations, which is white, gray, and pink. The white is a standard 5.5 by 4 1/4 inch card. The gray is 1/8 of an inch smaller than that, so it is 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. 4 1/8, 5 3/8. And then on top of that, I added a pink on pink polka dot piece, and it is 1/8 inch smaller than the other. So that would make it 4 inches by 5 1/4. 4 inches by 5 1/4. Now, the gray that I'm using is from the Paper Studio. It's a nice heavyweight cardstock. And the other, the pink on pink, is from this paper pack. It is also by the Paper Studio, and it's entitled Just Married. A number of them have foils on them, and I have used a number of them. They're all very, very pretty. Now my card is all set. You can see that just a little bit of the gray shows through, but I wanted that, and I think you'll see why in just a second. Now, to the cartridge itself, the cake cartridge, I'm on page 77 of my manual. There is this scallop edge, and if you look right here, it says this is 2 inches by 6 inches. Well, I knew that my card was 5 1/2, so that would be just a little bit more than what I needed, so that would be good. And if you put it at 2 inches as its width, it will be 6 inches long. If you vary that the width of it, then the length will also change. So if you want 2 by 6, you need to set it at 2, and it will be 6 inches long. So that's what I decided to do. And then I also used this piece that goes behind it. It's sort of a blackout piece, and it is the solid, and it shows up behind the holes in the scallop. And I went ahead and did that. This is my 2-inch piece. I eventually cut it down a bit because it was a little wider than I needed. And then on the back of that, I think maybe you can see that there, through the holes, you can see some silver paper. It's a little bit shiny. And that's what I did. I put those together, and then I trimmed them up so that they were 5 1/2 inches long. Now I'm going to put that right here on the base of my card. And I'm going to leave just a little bit of the pink showing through the bottom. And then the next item I did for the card is found on page 63 of the manual. And I wanted to use Happily Ever After. Now there is a shadow for this, so I cut Happily Ever After in pink and the shadow in gray, or that silver, that shiny silver. And this is how that turned out. I did go ahead and put it together off camera because it was very tiny and delicate to work with, and I knew that I would mess it up if I were trying to do it on camera. So I put all that together, and I cut this at 1 1/4 inches, both the lettering and the shadow. So this was 2, which I trimmed down to about 1/4 inch less than that. And this is 1 1/4 inches. So I will put those together, and then I'll show you the other pieces to this. Now I have those things set down onto the card itself, And if you'll notice that the silver behind the lettering and the silver here is a shiny, that is from DCWV. The matte that I used was just a piece of dark gray, and I did that because when I try to use this as a matte, it doesn't really show up very well. But in this, in the others here, it shows up well. But I think it looks good. We're coming along very, very nicely here. I did find this lovely little heart. It's on page 58 of the manual. It has 2 layers. This one, the top piece, has some cuts and little circles in it, and I thought those circles went well with this particular border. And then it has a scalloped edge heart. That's the shadow, or that's the blackout for it. There is no shadow piece on this particular one, so I just cut the shadow 1/4 of an inch larger. So what I did was, first I started with this light pink that coordinates with the card itself. And this is just a piece of coordinations paper. It's a fairly heavy cardstock. And then as my blackout piece to go behind that, I used a piece of this silver. And these are both cut at 2 inches. So when you layer them together, this is what you have. Now, for the shadow, I cut a 2 1/4 inch heart, and I just used the same one as this, only cut it 1/4 of an inch bigger. Now I will layer all 3 of those together, and I cut 2 of them so that I have a pair, since I'm going to use this for a wedding card. And I'll put those together, and then I'll come back and show you where I'm going to put it on the card. I'm back now, and I have my 2 little hearts layered up, and I'm ready to put them on the card. But just one quick word: if you are working with items that have holes in them like these hearts do, be sure to, and you're going to layer it onto something else, be sure to put your glue on this piece, on the top piece. If you put the glue on the bottom, then it will show through the holes. So just be careful to put the glue on the top piece. I have put the first heart down. I put this one down. It is all where I want it to be, and I put it on with my Zig glue stick, and I also have I've removed all of the backing from the foam tape. So now I'm just ready to put this one next to the other one, trying to get them at the same angle and the same distance from the edge. I think that looks fine. My very sweet little card that says Happily Ever After is complete. And I love this card. I love pink and gray. I do. And this has enough gray in it, I think, to calm it down, and white, to calm it down from being too pink to give as a wedding card. And I love this card. It has worked out so very nicely. If you don't happen to have this particular cartridge, the Martha Stewart Elegant Cake, I'm sure you can, there are hearts on many of the Cricut cartridges. You could stamp Happily Ever After. You could use a border punch to get this scallop. So if you don't have this cartridge, you could still create something very similar to this if you would desire to do that. So thank you so much for coming by. Number 8 is next. I'm not sure what it will be, but I'll see you soon.